Hey babe, how are you? Did you sleep okay last night? What time did you go to bed? I wanted to sleep by 10 p.m., but the eclipse is eclipsing a little harder than I'd like. But I slept through the morning, which is ridiculous considering I'm actually a morning person. I blame it on the weather though. See, I just moved to this place where it's a little bit colder and much quieter, so there's a chance I'm gonna be sleeping better than I used to in the past. I didn't even know that's a thing. Kinda like how you always feel more rested when you're outside the city, no? I think it's a thing. There's something about Nairobi that just makes us all restless. Anyway, enough about me. Well, okay, not really. I want to talk to you about the art of conversation because I am effectively tired of hearing people say that they hate small talk. And I say this as someone that has said before publicly that I hate small talk. It's just that now I know that's not a thing. You probably only say it because you read it on the internet, and it was a more acceptable explanation for why you struggle to talk to strangers, I guess. But then again, I don't know you like that, so please don't take my word for it. My name is Faye, and I love taking notes, so I created this little space on the internet where I come and ramble these thoughts to myself. And I feel so blessed when you come over and listen, so thank you so much for stopping by today. And we'll start with what is small talk. According to the internet, which is at this point a very reliable source, small talk refers to the polite and non-controversial conversations that people tend to have within social gatherings where they are not trying to agitate anyone. This means that you have to keep it light and not dive into any functional topic. Now, unfortunately, or rather fortunately, I believe I have the capacity to turn even the most mundane conversation into a heated argument about nothing. It's a gift. But today we are focusing on small talk as something that you should be willing to participate in because, like it or not, the adulting experience requires that you meet new people and build relationships from scratch. And if the first conversation I'm having with you is about women's rights, you better be a feminist or I'm cancelling you on the spot. And now I'm wondering why I would even engage someone who is not a feminist in any context. I would struggle, even within a capitalist context, because feminism is the only safe lens for me to engage with the world. And anyone that exists outside of it is an imminent threat in one way or another. So yeah, that was not the best example. If you're going to engage someone that you've just met and intend to have a long-term engagement with in a controversial conversation, you would need to be sure that you are on the same side on that argument. And this is not hard to do. Like when I'm in my workspaces, everyone I encounter is somehow invested in protecting human rights. So any controversial conversation around that is actually safe. But I would be reaching if I start a conversation, say with a potential donor, and my opening line is on religion or politics. So in such an instance, I will go with the weather or fashion, or sometimes even the meme culture. These are all very light and casual topics, and even if we disagree on whether I should wear sneakers on a date night, neither of us is taking it personally. I have a theory that the reason most people claim to hate small talk is because they're just so bad at it that they end up with a lot of awkward silences and moments where they do not know what to say. And in response to that, I scavenged the internet for possible tips on how to have and enjoy small talk because, like I said in the episode on finding a third place, everyone you meet has something to teach you. Small talk opens the door into other people's worlds, and if you use it right, there's an infinite wisdom at your disposal. When I'm not too engrossed in my own world, I think talking to strangers is the most satisfying experience and certainly the most influential to my writing career. Because how else do I replenish my imagination if not from the rich experiences of the strangers that bless me with their tales? And if I'm being honest, this is one of the reasons that I've really been wanting to join the gym. I want to meet and talk to more strangers as I focus on writing the books that I have planned out. So, the tips. First, you have to be interested in other people and things that are outside of yourself. So, you know that ancient wisdom of only minding the business that pays you? Yeah, don't do that. Be curious about people. Care about their worldview and the experiences that shaped those worldviews. A while back, I met someone that kindly shared that they feel very uncomfortable when people around them talk about sex. And it would have been very easy for me to dismiss them as conservative or rigid. But there was more to the story than just the fact of their discomfort. Even when someone has a stance that you find hard to wrap your head around, approach with curiosity instead of judgment. Secondly, get comfortable with silence. There is power in being able to pause and think things through, instead of filling every space with unnecessary words. When someone says something, paraphrase it to confirm that you have understood what they were saying, and to give yourself the time to really process the new information before responding. Rushing to respond is how you end up saying things don't make sense. Breathe, think about it, paraphrase, and then respond. See? It's not that hard. The third tip I found is that you should always ask questions. When I was much younger, with a stronger back and knees, I thought asking questions was being intrusive. I would feel put on the spot when a stranger asked questions that I considered personal, when in reality, they were just being curious about me. Right now, I do appreciate the vibe of someone being curious about me, like you are actually trying to know me beyond face value. That is so cool. I respect that shit. In order to enjoy small talk, you have to ask for more information. Like, so blue is your favorite color. Why? When did you find out you like blue above all the other colors? Because I have a hard time picking. I love so many different shades of green and all kinds of black. So tell me about your elimination process and what made you that decisive. I find that every declaration can be an opening for seeking more information. Let's say someone says they like the cold weather. You can ask why they struggle with heat. Is their core temperature low? Where were they born and what's the weather like there? You can find out very fascinating things if you learn how to pull the right thread even in an otherwise mundane conversation. Tip number 4, which is the most important one of them all, is to focus on the connection that you are making, because you are not being audited on how you speak or what words you use. I mean, a stranger will likely remember any foot-in-mouth moment that you might have, but that's never really as big a deal as you'd like to think. There have been very few times where I got into actual trouble for mixing up my words or stumbling through a sentence. And I stumble a lot. Sometimes the words just won't come out no matter how perfectly I arrange them in my mind. So just speak and breathe. The goal is to connect, not to sound like Martin Luther King giving a speech. 5 is something that I die for in conversations. Please have a structure and a logical connection between the points that you are making. When someone's thoughts and words are all over the place, I cannot follow what they are saying, so I end up getting distracted and lost in my own thoughts instead of listening to them. So in order to be good at small talk, you need to have some structure in your thoughts. It is okay to be the kind of person that connects everything. You can start talking about the weather, veer into fashion, bring in a little food and even politics. I'm okay with that range. But make sure that your thoughts in each topic are complete and that there is a clear segue into the new topic. I can follow multiple threads, but not all at once. There has to be a structure, some sort of a method to your madness, if you will. And the best way to achieve this is usually to stay calm. It is really hard to maintain structure if your mind is racing. A great barrier to small talk is often how to start the conversation. And to this, I say, open with something contextual. In a large gathering, I'd often choose to talk to whoever is hanging out on their own at the farthest corner. And I'd go with something about being a fish out of water, which would be relatable if they are also feeling overwhelmed by the crowd. Ideally, you need to read the room and lead with something that will pique their interest, and this could be anything. My last tip is on how to end the conversation. Do not do what Sheldon will do, which is walk away unceremoniously. You want this person to know that you actually enjoyed talking to them. So when you know you want to move on, end with a white flag. Let them know that you're about to leave, but give them all the room to finish what you are talking about. You can say something like, I'm gonna have to go talk to Lena over there, but I'd really like to hear more about your new cat. Like, what did you do to get her comfortable? This lets them know that you're enjoying your conversation with them, even though you have to leave in a short while. Like all fulfilling conversations, small talk is an art. And while there is talent in art, success is mostly tied to how often you're willing to practice. So quit whining on the internet about hating small talk and start talking to strangers. Soon you'll be the guy every introvert hates online because you won't be able to stop talking to strangers. And that's a good thing because you'll then notice just how rich your life gets when you open up to the possibility of learning from the people that you meet. The one thing that I will not tell you to do is to act interested. Things like maintaining eye contact, listening actively, using hand gestures, and all that come naturally if you're actually interested in what the other person has to say. So instead of having a checklist on how to act when talking to new people, just be curious and interested in others. And with that, I come to the end of today's episode. I must say it feels really good to be on the other side of the small talk conversation, convincing you that it is not as bad as social media makes you believe it was. Maybe it's because I was thrown into the deep end and had to talk to strangers for months on end at work. Or maybe I'm just right, and you need to get out of your head and talk to more people. Either way, you'll never know unless you try it, so good luck. And until next time, have a lovely week ahead. Bye.